The Toronto Maple Leafs did it today. Um, they finally made the obvious news. Kyle Dubas is now the GM of the team. He moves in at 32 years of age. So realistically, they could have a GM for what, 35 years? I don't know. Kyle Dubas has kind of got this wonderkin thing going on, so I don't know. His father was a Sault Ste. Marie intern. His grandfather, Walter, coached the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds from 1960 till 1967. So Kyle Dubas may be coming in as basically a kid at a GM level, but he knows his stuff. He played hockey himself, but he had to quit playing hockey at 14 due to injury. Den decided he wanted to get in on the business side of hockey and in on the management side of hockey. He went to Brock University where he got a sports management degree. While working at Brock University, he worked as a scout for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Just imagine that. For those of you that are in university or thinking about it, saying, well, I'm in sports management training here. I'm doing this in school. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and scout for a team before I've graduated from school. It's a gutsy move. At age 25, he became the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhound. And the big trade that he made, he decided to fix his goaltending in Sault Ste. Marie by trading for Jack Campbell, who put up mediocre stats while in Sault Ste. Marie. Now, whether that was a reflection on the team or what that was, he wasn't there for very long. And what they gave up was Mackenzie Braid, Patrick Seeloff, a third rounder in 2012, second rounder and third rounder in 2013, a second rounder in 2014, a second rounder in 2015, and a conditional 15th round pick in 2016, just as icing on the cake. He gave up a lot for a goaltender. But what I wonder is, now as a manager in the NHL, does this mean he's going to view mid and later round draft picks as just pieces? He's not going to worry about keeping them. Notice there's no first round pick in here. So maybe he views first rounders as being kind of untouchable, and maybe other rounds he goes, yeah, go ahead. If he sees a need on the team. Some GMs last a very long time doing this, and some, well, there's this guy, Dave Nonis, who was GM of the Leafs, who just threw in draft picks a lot. And the odd part is, Dubas became assistant GM to the Leafs on July 20th, 2014, at 28 years of age. And then he became one of the interim GMs for the Maple Leafs in April of 2015 when Nonis was fired. So he's not going to think like Nonis. Everything that I've read about him, he's advanced stats, analytics, the stat nerd type. And I can't think of a GM that the Leafs have had who have thought that way. Definitely Brian Burke wasn't a stats nerd. He is big on what he can see. If you've watched any of the Sportsnet coverage since he quit his job with the Calgary Flames and has started working now with Sportsnet, you'll see that he is very much I want to see what this guy is, and he's very visual, and he doesn't seem like a advanced stats type guy. In July of 2015, after he'd become an interim, he was bumped back to assistant GM when Lou was hired. Basically, Lou was GM for 3 years as a stopgap until they felt Kyle Dubas was ready at 32 years of age. It's a risk. This is a large risk for Toronto because this is a guy who very well may have watched them lose in the first round against Boston, and he may be saying we need a major change. And what that major change could be, who knows? This could affect the team's negotiations with their free agents. I don't know what kind of negotiation style this guy's going to have. He's going to be younger than a number of players that he interviews. Is that going to be odd? And I don't think so. The weird part with this is, or I don't know if weird's the right term. The thing for me with this is that if you make this move 20 years ago, they tell you need to have your head read. You're going to hire a 32-year-old as a GM. You're not. Especially, I could understand it in Arizona. John Chayka is kind of the canary down the cave mine. If you're going to hire a young GM and see how that works, do it with Arizona. You've got nothing to lose. The team's already been bad for a while. Attendance being what attendance is in Arizona, you can understand. This is the Mecca. This is where all hockey players pray. They all face in the direction of the Maple Leafs logo. Like this is it. This is the center of the hockey universe if you listen to fans of, the media. Not really the fans of Toronto, but the media. And so there's a lot of pressure on Kyle Dubas to succeed. A lot. He was the second youngest GM in Ontario Hockey League history, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I haven't even read it. He's got to be one of the youngest GMs in NHL history. This may be the trend. The guy making the decisions on who to keep, who to trade, on which contracts to sign and which ones to give up, those may belong in the hands of the younger candidates. They might be better off than some of the older hockey minds, and I'm sure Lou Lamoriello sticking around as in an advisory role, and that was still in the article. People want me to talk about, well, there's rumors Lou's going to go to New York. There's going to be rumors Lou's going to go a lot of places, and until something official has been done or Lou actually officially leaves the Maple Leafs, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, and I'm not going to do a whole lot of reporting on it. I'm still regretting reporting on Kovalchuk going to the Rangers when he hadn't even talked to them, so I'm not touching the Lou Lamoriello rumors other than to just mention them here. So, are you excited about Kyle Dubas if you're a Leafs fan right now? How do you feel about entrusting this kid with the future of a team that looks very, very bright? And he could make it brighter, or if he makes some kind of crazy deals, it could lead to an uncertainty about that future. Do the Leafs need to win immediately, or can they wait until later? Do they need to win while all their young stars are on entry-level contracts, or can they afford to wait until they're more mature and then just add to what they have with some other added veterans via free agency, via trade? What route do you take? You try to win one while all these kids are younger than their manager, or what do you do? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.